Ivory Mitchell served more than 30 years behind bars for armed robbery. Now the 55-year-old wants the world to know what happened inside the Texas prison called the Powledge Unit.
And then one day I was in the washroom and she came in and closed the door.
Mitchell says a female corrections officer forced him to perform sex acts on her in 2009 over a 5-month period.
She put it to me like this. She said, if you open your mouth and say anything, I'll go to that desk and say, you put your hands on me. You hear me, Mitchell? And I said, yes, ma'am.
The Department of Justice says about 216,000 adult and juvenile inmates are sexually abused each year, about half those incidents committed by staff. The Prison Rape Elimination Act of 2003 was meant to protect inmates.
When I walked over there, he had his pants off and said, I've decided it's been long enough and you're going to give me what I want. And I said,
Jan LASTOCY helped fight for the law. She was repeatedly raped by a guard in 1998 while serving time in Michigan for embezzlement.
It's a shame that we have to make a law that says don't rape people when they're in prison.
But it took nearly a decade for the federal government to establish standards for eliminating prison rape. Most of the states are still implementing requirements such as surveillance cameras, training for corrections officers, and reporting of sexual assault statistics. Only 2 states, New Hampshire and New Jersey, fully comply. 7 states have opted out, facing a loss of federal funds, including Texas.
We get thousands of letters every year from prisoner rape survivors, and about a quarter of those letters are from Texas.
Texas state prison officials say requirements like same-gender monitoring of inmates is too costly and too difficult to enforce. With a GOP-controlled Congress, Senator John Cornyn of Texas plans to renew his push for reducing financial penalties for states that don't comply. His rationale, the penalties could harm grant programs for sex assault victims on the outside. But the chairman of the commission that came up with the guidelines says taking the provision out would totally obliterate the incentive states have to comply with the law. The paradox for inmates, reporting the crime may put them in danger. Mitchell says when he reported the abuse, he was branded a snitch and says a prison gang savagely beat him. He now needs a cane and daily pills to help him walk. Painful reminders of his punishment behind bars that had nothing to do with his crime. John Moan, Associated Press, Palestine, Texas.